Good morning, YouTube. Chastity Snowden here with the FLA movement. I am a nutrition coach, in case you're just brand new to this. I have a background of 20 years of working in the fitness industry in many different ways. Personal trainer, got my bachelor's right after high school. Personal trainer, was a CrossFit coach. I sold food in CrossFit gyms. I sold like meal prepped food. Um, Became a nutrition coach as well. Tons of different certifications. I actually coached nutrition coaches, business coaching them, helping them build businesses. I was part of developing a school. Actually, the creator of the school actually coached me and a few other people and developed the school based off that, the nutrition coaching school. And I've had my company specifically. I worked for other companies before that. I have my company since 2019. So the FLA movement was created based on my story, my background. It's called the Fearlessly Authentic Movement. um, and a lot of people think it's because I moved to Florida, but that was just a happy accident that it ended up being FL, fearless. Authentic was the A, and then movement is what we want to do. So the reason I named the company that was because it was the story of my life, the story of the things I've had to do. Basically, I had to face my fears over and over again and learn not to fear that thing and to face it. So, fearless was one of my words for moving through life, especially when I was trying to go to the CrossFit Games. And we, as a team in 2017, ended up being one place away from going to the games. And I realized like the only thing I had to fear was losing at that point, and I'd already done that. I'd gotten right up to the point. So the next year I just did everything with reckless abandon and like didn't fear anything and went after it and went to the games the next year. And what I realized in after the games is that I was not being completely honest, not only with my clients, with the world, with myself, that I was struggling with eating disorders. And I had struggled with that for 20 years. So I wanted to create authenticity. And I realized the most powerful person in the room was the one that had nothing to hide. I realized this at a Warrior Women conference. And the biggest thing I was hiding from everybody was my eating disorder. Even though I was coaching people, I understood things about food, about fitness. I was not educating people based on just my background. I was not being honest about my background. So I wanted to let people know not only had I struggled with all kinds of eating disorder tendencies, I had been bulimic for about 20 years. So I became super authentic and started voicing what was going on in my life and what I had worked through in order to change other people's lives. So that's where the fearless and authentic comes from. And the reason I created it as a movement, if you don't have a goal that you're going after, then you're most likely not have positive, healthy brain. You're not going to have um you're going to have mostly like anxiety and depression in your life because you're not going after anything. I believe we were made to move, not only moving our body because our bodies were actually made to move, but we were made to move forward in our life goals no matter what age you are. So that's the background behind the Fearlessly Authentic movement. And one of the reasons I'm creating this um, permanent lifestyle change is I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of clients. And what I realize is the hard part is everybody wants the results fast. They want to get this weight loss fast or add muscle fast or whatever it is. They want it now. They're not willing to do the work to create the habits over time that will sustain the movement and the change that they've had in their health and their body and their performance. That is the lasting factor, the habits that you create. Yes, motivation is important to start with. The way that you can have motivation is create accountability with a nutrition coach or with a coach. That is one way to create motivation at all time because motivation is going to die. Eventually, that motivation needs to transfer into discipline, meaning no matter what is happening, you're going to show up because you are a disciplined person within that habit. After you've been disciplined for a period of time, long enough to create a habit in your mind, it no longer is habit. It's no longer discipline like, oh, I got to get motivated to go to the gym. Oh, got to get motivated to log my food. It is now a habitual discipline where it goes from your conscious mind of thinking about it all the time to your unconscious mind, kind of like brushing your teeth and getting in the shower. Those things we don't think about anymore. We just do them. That is how we create all of these habits. And if you do them long enough over the period of a year, I've seen people completely transform their lives in their 50s, then 60s and 70s aren't hard, or 40s, then 50s, 60s, 70s are hard, or even in their 70s. And then the next 10 years are even better than the last 10. It does not matter what age you are, creating habitual discipline is really going to change your life. And creating habitual discipline means you're going to have a permanent lifestyle change. You are actually going to change what you do in your life is going to change. So this month, we're focused on logging your food. Why are we doing that? Number one, we want to log our food in order to get education and awareness around what we're putting in our body. Because typically, what do you want to do? You want to change the outside. What determines the outside is what you put in, what you do with your body, how much you move, what kinds of food you eat. And if you don't have a good picture and awareness and a log of what you're putting in, you really shouldn't be mad about or frustrated with the outcome. But all of us only focus on the outcome, the scale, the measurements, the pictures. We need to transfer that and focus on our actions that are going to create the outcome. That's what the permanent lifestyle change is about. That is why only this month we're working on logging food and logging food before we eat so that we can see what we're putting in our body. Does this serve me? Does this meet, if you're trying to meet macros, does this serve what I'm trying to create inside my body? And you're actually in a conscious state before you eat food. Instead of what we normally are in is an unconscious state when we eat food. We're just shoving food in our mouth. We don't even realize we're full. We just keep eating. So, in that, every single person wants to know when we start, how is this sustainable? I don't want to log food the rest of my life. I don't want to measure food the rest of my life. And I'm here to tell you, you do not have to measure and weigh your food and log your food for the rest of your life. Think of this just like we're doing it in 1 month out of this year. Think of this as a tool in your tool belt. If you want to change a number on the scale, you should change the numbers of the things going in your body. If you want to change a number in the inches and circumference around your body, you should change the numbers of the things going in your body. Same with photos. It is scientifically proven that when you monitor your food and you actually look at the data, the outcome can change. But if you're not looking at the data and you have no idea what you're doing, the outcome is going to be emotional and stressful, and you're like, what did I do? I don't know what's wrong. I'm confused. I'm working really hard but not getting results. That's going to be the mentality at all times. So once you develop this habit, this is just a tool in your toolbox to change your body when you want to change it. And we teach you inside of our company how to log food specific to you and what macros you need and what quality of food you need based on your health and background and what goals you have. But right now, the habit of just logging your food and learning how to put food in an app perfectly, well, not completely perfectly, but in the way that is going to actually serve you in an accurate way, then you're going to be able to change your body composition. But once you get to your goal, you shouldn't have to log food forever. You should move into intuitive eating, meaning I know that about 4 ounces of meat or so, what it looks like, 3 to 4 ounces. And that's what I want to consume at every meal. I want to make sure I get 25 to 30 grams of protein at every meal. And then the carbs and fats kind of happen. I don't really worry about those. So I have logged for years and years and years, but then I went an entire year last year without logging. And then I've gone quite a few days this month without logging and just logging every once in a while to make sure what I'm eating is in the standard of what I'm wanting, making sure that I'm keeping into that 130 to 133 weight range that I want while taking pictures and making sure my body composition is changing as I'm adding more food. And I know I'm adding more food because I put myself in a deficit, logged my food for a period of time, and then lost 20 pounds. Now I've moved into intuitive eating, just focused on making sure I get protein in. And then I don't even log that. I can just literally look at the food as I'm eating it. How much protein is in this? How much protein is in the next thing I'm eating? So the goal is not to log your food forever. The goal is actually to move into intuitive eating. And the way that you do that is you actually log your food for a period of time so that you can learn what food looks like. How many protein, carbs, and fats are in things? How do I read nutrition labels? What is in the ingredients list? What works for me for my digestion? What doesn't work? You start to become aware of your body by simply looking at the data and stop being emotional about it. That way you can intuitively eat for the rest of your life. So no, you do not have to log food for the rest of your life. And actually, I would assume that nobody wants to do that. And it's actually not helpful to log it forever. So I encourage you this month, just develop this habit every single day, log your food and log your food before you eat. In the thought process of, I'm not going to do this forever, I'm developing a tool that I can come back and use at any time. Hope you guys have an amazing day. I'll see you tomorrow.